Welcome to ISL Enabled Virtual Lab of CSIR.
Hi everyone,
I'm Utsuka.
I am Jigyasa and
You're
you are listening to India Asks Why,
a science podcast supported by India Bioscience,
where we do the research for you to get smarter.
Join us as India becomes more curious,
One question at a time. Utsuka and Jigyasa spotted a snake charmer on the streets. Utsuka was mesmerized by its dance, but they both realized that the dancing snake had no legs or arms. That made them wonder why snakes don't have limbs. Listen to the episode as they explore the reasons why snakes must have lost limbs. And in the interview segment, they talk to Dr. Megha Kumar, a scientist from CCMB who studies early forms of animals, that is, embryos. Dr. Kumar talks about how researchers study snakes and other animals to answer questions about how their bodies develop.
Look at how the snake moves. It looks like it's standing and making waves in the air.
Even though it has no legs and arms, you say it's standing and dancing?
Yikes, you're right. I wonder why snakes don't have limbs.
Evolution, Utsuka. The answer to why snakes don't have limbs lies in how the snakes have evolved. But Utsuka, beware, we are now entering uncertain territories.
Uncertain territories?
Evolution involves the study of the past. Since we cannot time travel, we have limited evidence about the past. That's why it's uncertain or debatable. Scientists have different ideas on why snakes don't have limbs. One of the ideas is that many years ago, there could have been a snake ancestor that used to have limbs. But over time, they have lost their limbs.
Lost their limbs? What do you mean, Jigyasa?
So recent studies by evolution scientists have found that ancient snakes like pythons start developing legs when they are just embryos, and their experiments suggest that the genes which control leg development are mutated, and that's why snakes don't complete their leg development.
Wait. That was a lot of new information. First, let me recap. Snakes are reptiles, so they hatch from the eggs, right?
Yes, and here scientists studied snake babies much before they were even ready to hatch.
Cool. And you said genes are mutated? What does that mean?
Yes, do you remember genes, Utsuka?
Yes. So, genes are fragments of DNA that have specific functions in the cells of our body.
And do you remember mutations are small changes in the DNA of a living organism?
Yes, now I remember.
So these small changes can sometimes show as big changes in the body. Like it could cause an organ to not form correctly in the embryo.
Then, will the embryo be able to live?
Probably not. But then there can also be times when the mutations don't show up as big changes in the body.
So, you mean that a small change happens and no one will know it happened?
Exactly. And let's say over many years of generations of some slithery snake ancestor family, these small secret changes kept happening. But the effects didn't show up in the individuals from the younger generations.
Okay, but then if there was no change, how did snakes lose their limbs?
So it could have happened that in one younger generation there were enough mutations that a big change finally showed up.
big change, meaning losing the limb?
Exactly. The mutations finally affected the development of limbs in the snake's embryo. And now, in this younger generation, the snakes that hatched out of the eggs were completely limbless.
Whoa, but wait, how did the snake then walk or move without limbs? How did it do its functions?
That's a good question. It might have seemed the most difficult thing at that moment. We don't know because we can't time travel, as I said. But it could be possible that without the limbs, the snakes might have been able to hide better or bury better into the soil or be able to find food resources in the places where the other snakes might have not reached.
You mean that they were better at some skills which set them apart from others?
Yes, exactly. The limblessness might have given them an advantage over the other snakes. This could mean the limbless snake might have survived better than the others and reproduced more snake babies like itself. And those limbless snake babies then reproduced to make more limbless snake babies.
But Jigyasa, all of this talk is of the past. Since we can't go back in time, how do scientists know that this is really true?
That's a very good question, Utsuka. This is exactly why some scientists study present day snake embryos, and they found some exciting information there.
Oh, tell me more.
So, when a snake baby or embryo is just starting to form in the egg, several genes are contributing to the development of the different features in the snake body. Now, in the snake cells, while it is developing in the egg, there is one gene that helps in the development of toes and another that helps in development of bones of the leg and so on and so forth. And then there is also a regulator gene that controls all of these genes.
So, does it mean that leg development starts in the snake embryo? But then, why does the snake not have legs?
Yes, I'm getting there. So even though the snake begins the development of the leg, it isn't able to sustain that development. And that's why the leg development stops abruptly and the leg bones don't develop further.
Oh, so these were the mutations that might have accumulated over time and generations. And now we see it as a big change, limbless snakes, right?
Bingo! That's exactly what I was getting at. And to confirm this idea, another study went a step further. They placed this mutated regulator gene of the snake into the mouse embryo's DNA. So this time the mouse had the mutated regular gene and instead of its normal regulator gene. Can you guess what might have happened?
So did the mouse not develop legs at all?
Perfect! The mouse embryo showed a behavior similar to the snake embryo, further proving the point that regulator gene is important for the correct and sustained development of legs in snakes.
This is super fascinating, Jigyasa. Does this mean that we can put the same regulator gene in any animal and make them lose their limbs?
I know the perfect person to answer your question. Let's ring Dr. Megha.